That's okay. It's all off, so. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pet Pawcast today. I'm your host, Dr. Roberta Westbrook, and we are here at the Campus for All Animals, the Houston SPCA, and we are excited today. We have so much information for you for this upcoming 4th of July weekend and weekday on Monday. So we want to give you lots of information to help you keep your pets safe this 4th of July. And I want to introduce you to our wonderful friend today who came to say me. Her name is Tootsie Roll. Tootsie Roll is a cute adult female who's looking for her forever home. Tootsie Roll is so friendly and looks just like a little Tootsie Roll. You just want to eat her up, right? You just want to eat her right on up. She's so sweet. So please come visit her. Tootsie Roll came to us through our Cruelty and Investigations Department. She does have an old but healed wound on her back, and it's not any problem at all. She's completely healthy and ready to go home with you. So please make a weekend of it. Come on down, bring your family, bring your friends, see what dogs and cats, puppies and kittens we have available for adoption, and see if one of them would make a perfect fit for your home. So now I want you to start thinking about any questions or anything that you have that you think I can help you with regards to the 4th of July and how to keep your pets safe. Because this can be a really, really fun day, but it can also be dangerous for our pets. And so I'm going to talk about a couple of things that are going to help us. So the first thing I want to talk about is the most obvious thing that we think about when we think about the 4th of July. We think about fireworks. Everybody looks forward to the fireworks shows. Everyone looks forward to going out, taking their family, and oftentimes taking their pets, because these days we want to include our pets in all of the festivities. So we want to take them out and have them experience the fireworks as well. But I do want you guys to know that dogs don't tend to enjoy the fireworks as much as we do. The noise and the lights and the commotion oftentimes makes them very fearful. And a fearful dog will do things that may create an unsafe situation. Flee. They want to flee from the sound. They want to flee from the lights and the excitement. And the 4th of July typically has a 30% increase in the number of reported lost pets. It's the most common holiday for pets to get lost, and that's because they're trying to get away from all of the noise and commotion. So if this is your first 4th of July with your pet and you don't know how your pet will react to fireworks, I would caution you about taking your pet out to a fireworks event. Consider staying at home, maybe watching fireworks on TV or watching them from your patio or your balcony, and then seeing how your new pet reacts to the loud noises and the sounds. And then you'll know better next year how that will work. So if you're concerned at all, I would say something that you can do is consider getting your pet a crate or a carrier that he or she can stay in to be calm and relax and have a nice comfortable space during the fireworks displays. So does anybody have any questions related to 4th of July?
Yep, so Cheryl wants to know that she's saying that she can't stay home, but she's scared that her dog might hurt himself in a crate. She's worried about the crate. Any tips?
Yes, that's a great question. So I did just mention, putting your dog in a crate, But there's a pros and cons here. Ideally, your pet would be already accustomed to being in a crate so that it's more of a comfort space for them. So typically we like for pet parents to get their pet used to a crate by putting treats in there, toys in there, making it a nice, comfortable, safe space for them. But you're right, Cheryl, that if 4th of July is the first time that your pet has ever been in a crate, and now they're in a crate for the first time and they have the fireworks, it could be a little bit stressful for them. So what you could do is just sit with them. So sometimes it's just they want to be close to you. You can have them sit with you on the couch. You can play music to drown out the sound of the fireworks in the background. And you can give them toys, you can give them treats, and you can give them some little distractions that I'm going to show you in just a second to try to help them get their mind off of those loud noises.
Another question is, do Thundershirts work right away, or do they need to get used to them?
Oh, that's a great question. So a Thundershirt is a tight-fitting kind of bodysuit for dogs. And what it does is it's like giving them a nice hug and a nice squeeze. And sometimes that provides a comforting feeling for them and can help them calm down. And it does typically work when you put it on. It doesn't have to build up over time. So you could try a Thundershirt for your pet during times of anxiety or when you feel like they're being a little bit nervous, and maybe you can try it out and see if it's going to work for your pet. For some pets that have severe anxiety, it may not be enough, but it certainly could help keep them calm. Talk to your family veterinarian about whether they think the Thundershirt is something that you should try first, or whether they feel like that there's another solution that's more appropriate for your pet.
So James wants to know, why does my pet need a microchip if they already have a collar, and does the microchip locate them?
Oh, what a great question. So some of you all may have a couple of different ways that you have identification for your pet. Hi, Tootsie Roll. One of those is just having a collar with a tag on it with your name and phone number and maybe your pet's name. And these are great, but sometimes when pets get out, they get caught on a fence or come off. And so a permanent form of identification called a microchip is a tiny little chip that's implanted in your pet just underneath the skin, but between the shoulder blades there. Microchips work in a way that if your pet winds up at a veterinary hospital or if your pet winds up at a shelter, employees of those businesses can scan your pet with what we call a microchip scanner. I'll show you here. Here is an example of a microchip and a microchip scanner. And the microchip will be implanted in your pet. This is a syringe, and a tiny little rice-sized electronic chip gets implanted in the skin. And then when your pet gets lost and comes to a veterinary facility or a shelter, everyone has one of these handy microchip scanners. And when we press the button and we scan over the back of your pet, we kind of scan over the back of your pet, it will pick up the microchip number there. And we can look that microchip number up on a website. And what it will do is it will link us to you, the pet owner, and we can call you and reunite your pet with you as soon as possible. So this is a really good permanent form of identification. All veterinary hospitals and shelters are going to be able to check for microchips. So it's a really safe thing to do. And I think that is the best reason to have a microchip in addition to a collar, because the collars are not permanent. They can come off. They can be put on the wrong pet. They're not quite as accurate. So consider talking to your veterinarian about a microchip.
If it's too late to make an appointment for a microchip, what else can they do to ensure that their lost pet is returned?
So if you think that you have a lost pet, or it's the 5th of July, your pet is lost, please contact your local animal shelters, look on websites, put out a lost and found report so that the community will keep an eye out for your pet. So you can call the city, you can call shelters like the Houston SPCA, you can file a lost report, you can get pictures and detailed descriptions of your pet, and that way, if someone finds your pet, they will be able to more quickly call you and reunite you to as soon as possible.
So a follow-up to that microchip, that they wanted to know does the microchip also serve as a way to track down your pet?
Oh yes, I'm sorry, the microchip is not a GPS per se. So you're not going to be able to look up the location of your pet by putting the microchip number on a website, for example. So all the microchip does is link your pet to your contact information, but it's not a tracker. So it won't be able to tell you where your dog is going or is currently, but whoever scans your pet gets that microchip number, they will be able to get your contact information and contact you.
So Jim wants to know, what safe toys can my pet have to distract them?
Oh, there's so many options out there. So you may know your pet already and what he or she loves to play with and what might distract them, what's kind of a high value treat for them. But we have some cool options here. So certainly there's toys that you can use to play with them, like rope toys or things that they like, tennis balls. But you may also try something to distract them that might take a little bit longer for them to stay occupied. So you can talk to your veterinarian about which treat to use, but you can buy treats like this, peanut butter and easy cheese, and you can put these on a very handy toy called a lick mat. So a lick mat, I'll get it down here, and we'll see if Tootsie Roll wants to try that. So a lick mat looks like this, and it's very cool. It has little suction cups on the back of it so that you can stick it on a wall or even the side of a kennel. You take your easy cheese or whatever treat you want, and you just put that on the lick mat here, and then you can sort of spread it around, get it in all of the different, and this is textured, and there's several different textures here, and those different textures will also help to stimulate your pet. They feel differently on the tongue, and so it can be a really good source of enrichment as well for them to just sort of explore the different surfaces of the lick mat. So you can spread that in, and then you can put this lick mat on the side of the kennel or wall or on the floor, like we're gonna do here for Tootsie Roll. Tootsie Roll, want a treat? Come see, and we'll see if she wants to lick some of that cheese off. Yeah. She's like, I don't know. So you can try things like that. You can put treats in different types of Kongs or other toys that make them have to work to get treats out of. You can buy food bowls that kind of work as a food puzzle, where the pets have to work a little bit harder to get the treats out. So there's lots of options at your local pet stores to help keep your pets distracted and busy during that time.
So Samantha says her dog typically doesn't want to eat when he's scared. So should we be worried about that, or are there any tips that you suggested, like maybe outside of the lick mat, what you can use?
I think that's a great question, because when dogs are nervous, sometimes they don't want to eat, and the treats are oftentimes not high value enough for them unless you know kind of what they really, really like that they just can't refuse. So if you know that your dog has a treat that they almost just can't refuse, that might be a good place to start. But then sometimes if it's not a treat, it could just be, again, you comforting them. It could be trying to drown out the noise so that they don't hear the fireworks. And then if the anxiety is really high, I would recommend talking to your family veterinarian about what sort of medications, either natural or prescription, might be appropriate for your pet to try to take the edge off on the day and night of the 4th of July. So there are some milder, over-the-counter sort of natural remedies that pet parents can try, all the way up to some more of the really strong prescription medications that almost sedate the pet. And it depends on how severe your pet's anxiety is. But those might be something to try ahead of time. So don't wait until the fireworks start, because once the fireworks start and your pet gets really anxious, it's much more difficult to bring them down after that. What you want to do is get ahead of it. So you want to get some medication or get the ambiance, the calming, environment on board before the fireworks start, so they can have an easier time, getting through the night.
So do you have any tips for the humans, maybe even some ways to scare them into not feeding your cute pets stuff that you prepared for them?
Yes, absolutely. So please, I know you want to enjoy good food this holiday. We all do. We're going to be grilling. We're going to maybe have barbecue and all kinds of fatty foods that we might only eat a few times a year, and it's really exciting. And you want your pet to be able to partake in that sometimes, because they're looking at you with the cutest big brown eyes like Tootsie Roll has here, and they're sitting. They oftentimes will sit for you and shake and lay down when they know there's food around, and so they'll do all the tricks because they think you're going to give them some food. Please avoid that. We don't want to see you in our emergency hospitals the day after the 4th of July, and we don't want you to spend thousands or maybe tens of thousands of dollars trying to save your pet's life after they've ingested something that they shouldn't have, because that can happen. And we can talk about that. We have lots of goodies here that we love to eat here, but these things are probably not going to be good for your pet. So I'll point out some of these things. For example, alcohol. It's a very common thing for holidays, particularly 4th of July. Please do not give alcohol to your pets. So no alcohol. This is going to be dangerous for them. We don't want to see them in the hospital. Another thing that you might be eating on 4th of July is corn, maybe corn on the cob. So corn in general is not toxic for pets. Pets can eat corn. They can eat the corn kernels. Cooked corn, not a big deal. What is a big deal is the corn cob. And it's very common for us to have corn cobs for holidays. Do not let your pets have the entire corn cob. When they swallow the cob, they're not going to be able to digest it. It's extremely hard and very round and thick, and they're not going to be able to pass that through their gastrointestinal tract. And it's going to cause a foreign body, and oftentimes, most often, it requires surgery to remove that. So I would say, please keep your pets away from corn on the cob. If you want to shave some of those kernels off, and they get the kernels, that may not be toxic to them, but still try to give them some other dog appropriate treats as opposed to something made for people. You might have chips and dip, like chips and guacamole. Remember, avocados are toxic for pets, so don't let them get into your guacamole or your avocados. And then chocolate, we talk about this several times throughout the year. Chocolate is toxic for pets as well. The darker the chocolate, the more toxic it is, but please stay away from all of it, even if it's just, the cookies and the brownies and the sweets. At minimum, these things can cause just tummy upset for your pet. So at least if your pet gets too much of this or any of this, it could cause a lot of stomach upset, vomiting, diarrhea. Again, we don't want to see you in emergency hospitals. We want you to have a fun holiday and not have to worry about this.
So Mark says his Doberman is a counter surfer and he does his best, but that doesn't always work. When should he be concerned and head to the vet if he's just taken you don't even really know what he's consumed because there's just a mess on the counters?
Yeah. So if you notice, if you have a pet that counter surfs, they're big enough, tall enough to either jump on the counter or kind of get their paws up there and lick everything off the counter. And they get into multiple things and you don't know what it is, but you do know that they've gotten into something. You can certainly go right to the veterinarian. They can do a physical exam. What we typically start with is palpating the belly, just pressing on it and seeing if we can feel anything that feels large or obstructive. For example, if you have a small dog, that small dog has gotten into a bone like a corn cob or a bone or something else like a corn cob. Sometimes we can actually feel that. If we press on the belly, sometimes we can feel that there's something in there that might be a foreign body, and we can give you a heads up. We can take x-rays, but sometimes it's just a wait and see. So if your pet has kind of counter surfed, talk to your veterinarian. They may say kind of wait and see if your pet starts having vomiting, diarrhea, or lethargy, in which case you're probably definitely going to need to get some treatment for that right away.
What are your tips on cats? Someone does not want you to forget about the felines.
Of course, because cats also are part of our family. And we don't typically take our cats out to the festivities like fireworks, but they still hear it. They're still inside. They're still hearing it. And cats can be fearful of that too. So you may notice that your cat is hiding under the bed, or trying to get away from people, or their eyes are very dilated and they seem uncertain. This could be anxiety in your cat because of all the noise and commotion. If you've noticed that your cat tends to be a little bit nervous or anxious when new things happen or loud noises happen, great time to contact your family veterinarian and see if there's something that you can give your cat there are medications that can work for cats as well to try to take the edge off. But same things, if you can figure out something that your cat likes, you can use those lick mats for cats. You can put some cat appropriate treat or canned food on the lick mat, and you can distract them that way. Again, sometimes just sitting with your cat and giving them that comfort of being near them may help. So you're absolutely right that cats can have anxiety too. Treat them the same way, keep them indoors, keep them safe. If you want to put them in maybe a bathroom or bedroom where they can't get out, that might be an option as well.
Maria wants to know if what your thoughts are on CBD or calming chews.
Yes, you can get CBD oil for pets that you can put in the food, calming chews as well. Some of these medications have what we use in people very much like melatonin. Like it stimulates a calming, hormone, and it relaxes them. But contact your family veterinarian again to see if that's the most appropriate thing for your pet. These work in some animals, but they may not work in all animals, particularly if your pet has extreme or severe anxiety. But yes, pet stores, your local pet stores often has a section for anxiety medications that again, you can try, but it's always best to get professional opinion about which one may be best to try first.
Mm-hmm. Are there any safe bones that we can give our dog?
I would not say that there are any safe bones, right? I mean, there are certainly animals who have ingested bones and been fine, but overwhelmingly, these can be more dangerous than not. And sometimes when the bones are cooked, they're more brittle, they break apart. And so when the pets are chewing them, they turn into these sharp little splinters. And sometimes those sharp pieces of bone can penetrate the gastrointestinal tract and actually cause a life-threatening condition called peritonitis. And so we don't want situations like that. So, I really would avoid giving your pets any of your leftover steak bones or ribs or anything that could potentially be a foreign body or cause something like pancreatitis or peritonitis from a perforated GI tract. So I would stay away from those things, but there certainly are safe dog-approved toys that are like bones. They're flavored, they are safe for pets, they're not too hard, they're easily digestible. You can get those from your local pet stores as well.
Okay, so Maria wants to also know what should she do if she finds one of those lost pets? What are some best practices?
That's a great question. So if you're someone who finds a lost pet, first of all, thank you for working with that pet to try to relocate them and reunite them back with their pet parent. And I would say if you have a family veterinarian, maybe you have a pet, I would start there. The next morning when the veterinary hospital is open, please give them a call, ask them if you can stop by and just get the lost pet scanned for a microchip. That would be step one, getting them to either a veterinary hospital or a shelter where they can scan the pet for a microchip. And if there's one, that's great because then we're more likely to get that pet back to their parent sooner. If there is no microchip, then it might be a matter of going on your neighborhood apps or social media, taking some pictures, posting them, kind of doing your own detective work and trying to figure out where your lost pet may have come from. Sometimes it might be right in the neighborhood. And so if you post those pictures in your neighborhood, your group neighborhood app, or you post some pictures on the stop signs and fences, then you may be able to find that pet's parents on your own. But we're happy to help you here at the Houston SPCA, and your local veterinary hospitals will be happy to help as well.
We got one more question from Karen. It's two parts. One, she wants to know if Houston SPCA is going to be open on the July 4th, and are the pets going to be okay if fireworks are going off here in and around the shelter?
Oh, great question. So the Houston SPCA is open on the 4th of July, so you can come on down and take a look at all the dogs and cats and puppies and kittens available for adoption. There is no appointment necessary. And we're hoping, during the day, there's no fireworks going off typically. And so, our animals are in a building that's kind of hard to hear, a lot of noise outside, so it's pretty noise protected from outside. And every year we have pets and usually do not have any problem with them having any anxiety from the fireworks. So yes, please come on down for the 4th of July, and we're happy to help you when you get here. Please keep your pets safe. We want to have you guys have a safe, fun family holiday and not wind up having to go to an emergency hospital or something more serious. So come on down, Tootsie Roll. We're gonna do that Tootsie Roll dance when we leave here. So come on down and visit. Otherwise, we will see you next week on the Pet Podcast. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you later.